What is going on, my trainer club? Today we are going to check out the best electric attackers, and since Raikou just finished, do we want to power him up in Pokemon Go? So you know what time it is. Welcome to the Trainer Club. Here we go. Alright everyone, congratulations on your Raikou. Drop in the comments and let me know how many shinies did you get, what kind of IV potentials did you guys get, and what are your big wins of this day, because today is awesome. We have the boosted Alolan forms, we have the boosted Groudon raids, and then we have the maximized Raikou raids. So let me know in the comments, how did you guys do with all of the above? Let me know what your shiny counts are, and when you want to come back here and celebrate, make sure to drop in the comments. I try my best to read as many of those comments as I possibly can and give you guys back some feedback. I know it's been a little bit busy for myself, so I have not been as good, but that is okay. I'm going to get back to it. I will start connecting with you guys as much as I possibly can. So I want to take a moment and thank everybody that supported me with my pin and my shirt. Everything is out. Everything is shipped. The international people will be getting it a little bit later because it takes a little bit of time. But I do have a little bit of leftover merchandise that I will be putting up in my shop next week. So stay tuned to that. I just want to give you guys a heads up for all of my dedicated supporters who might want my pin or a shirt or something like that, because it is going to go up next week in my shop. You can just go to thetrainerclubb.com and it will take you to my shop, and there might even be some extra stuff in there that I am not going to announce. So I appreciate you guys for supporting. That is helping me make this possible, because I want to keep doing this. I want to travel more. I want to see more of you guys. I want to have more meetups, and so we can all connect as trainers. So now we want to look at what are the best electric attackers in the game. So we're going to check out the DPS. DPS stands for damage per second. It is a metric that is going to measure how much damage and how powerful these guys are as just damage attackers. The second metric we are going to check out is going to be total damage output, and that means over the lifespan of that Pokemon, how long can it last and how much power and damage will it do over its entire lifespan. So the tankier Pokemon in this category are going to win. It's not necessarily going to be like the DPS. The DPS is going to be more of the attackers, and they're typically going to be more of these glassy Pokemon. And then the third category we are going to check out, as always, is going to be DPS times TDO, and that is going to be the average of both of those, because we don't just want glassy guys that maybe can only get off like half a special, which is basically like a half bar special, or even maybe not get off a special because they're so glassy. We don't want a guy that's so tanky that he can't do him enough damage, and we're sitting in this raid forever and we're not able to beat it in time. And what we do want is the combination of those, the guy that's not super glassy, but the guy that's going to deliver a lot of damage over his lifetime, and that is the category that we're going to look at. But then we also have to take into account as a trainer, because these are just statistics, we need to realize what Pokemon is going to be the best for each situation, because do we want a 1 bar, 2 bar, 3 bar special, and how do we maximize on that? So let's check this out. For all of the electric Pokemon, we are going to start off with the DPS category and checking it out what is going on with this. So starting at the top, we have the Electivire. Electivire's moveset is going to be Thundershock Wild Charge with a 16.735 DPS. Then we have Raikou sitting underneath him with a Thundershock Wild Charge combination with 16.133. Then we have Zapdos with Thundershock and Thunderbolt, which came out for his raid day, which is going to be 15.756. Then we have Magnezone with Spark and Wild Charge with 15.677. Then we have Luxray with Spark and Wild Charge at 15.642. Electivire, which actually has a fighting move, Low Kick Wild Charge, with the DPS of 15.561. Zapdos with Thundershock Discharge with 15.287. But we have the Magnezone with the Charge Beam and the Wild Charge with the 15.198. And then I'm going to go over the top 3 here, but if you want to go ahead and pause it, make sure to do so. We're going to check out the Zapdos with the Charge Beam Thunderbolt, which is going to be 15.123. We have the Luxray, which actually has Snarl Wild Charge with 15.033. The Raikou with the Thundershock Thunderbolt, 15.028, and then so on. And then all the way at the bottom, we have the first of the Jolteons popping up with the Thundershock Thunderbolt, who used to be a super powerful attacker. And then, like I said in the other video, if you checked it out, for the Alolan forms, we have the Alolan Golem with Rock Throw Wild Charge combination. Super unique, super cool. So as far as DPS alone, we have the Electivire sitting all the way on top, which is super cool, super unique. I like the Electivire, but that doesn't mean that we conclude that Electivire is the best electric attacker. We are now going to check out the TDO, which stands for total damage output, which is going to be how much damage over the lifetime of the Pokemon will it deliver? So we are probably going to see a nice shakeup, probably some different guys in here, because now we're going to look at more of the tankiness of the Pokemon, and then we're going to go on and combine the two. So here we go, looking at the TDO of these electric type Pokemon. So we have the Raikou sitting at the top with Thundershock Wild Charge with 522. Then we have another Raikou sitting at the top. Look at that. 2 Raikous at the top, meaning he's going to be the tankiest Pokemon. I think you guys might be able to guess who is going to sit at the top with how much differential. We will see about that. Then we have the Raikou in the second place with Thundershock Thunderbolt with 486. Zapdos coming in with the Thundershock Thunderbolt 485. Then we have Raikou with Volt Switch Wild Charge, which is going to be 482. That Volt Switch is a super slow move. Then we have Zapdos with Thundershock Discharge with 471. Zapdos with Charge Beam Thunderbolt with 466. Raikou sitting with a Thundershock Shadow Ball with 461. And then we have Zapdos Thundershock Zap Cannon 460. And then if you want to go ahead and pause this, but I'm going to point out the Magnezone here with the Spark Wild Charge at a 447. We have the Alolan Golem in there as well. So it actually didn't get shaken up as much as we might have anticipated. So for the fire attackers, it went from the Blaziken being all the way at the top, and then it went for the Ho-Oh being all the way at the top because there was such a big differential in how tanky the Ho-Oh is. But now we're going to check out the DPS times TDO, which is going to be a very good depiction of what best electric attackers we should use, and it's going to be a good value to kind of separate the difference between the two. So we're going to check that out right now. Alright, so sitting at the top we have the Thundershock Wild Charge Raikou at a 2191. And then right under him we have Zapdos with the Thundershock Thunderbolt at 1899. So he is almost 300 points below the Raikou. Raikou sits at top with a powerhouse Thundershock Wild Charge combination. Then we have the Electivire sitting in third place with the Thundershock Wild Charge at the 1898, which is pretty close, 0.2 away from that Zapdos. And then we have Magnezone, and Magnezone's a beast with that Spark Wild Charge, 1724.7. Then we have Zapdos Thundershock Discharge, 1682. And then we have Raikou Thundershock Thunderbolt with 1650. Zapdos Charge Beam Thunderbolt, 1611. Raikou Volt Switch Wild Charge at 1603, and then on from there. And I'm just going to point out, so now look at where the Luxray is with that Spark Wild Charge at 1465, so he's definitely more of a glassy Pokemon. And then we have the Alolan Golem coming in with that Rock Throw Wild Charge at 1294, so not the most effective attacker that we have. So taking all of this into account, we now have to look at, okay, so we have the Raikou sitting on top. He only has one weakness, which is ground. He gets Shadow Ball, which is a cool second charge attack to have because it's very powerful. Although in this category, it shows that that double electric Raikou with that Thundershock Wild Charge combination is super dominant. He sits at the #1 spot, and he has a 2-bar special, which makes it an easy win for that Raikou being the best electric attacker in the game. So this is who we are going to sit with. And then, of course, we have the Zapdos too. But like we saw with the Zapdos against the Kyogre with the Blizzard, he's weak to 2 things, and that Blizzard being one of them, being an ice move, is really difficult. I mean, it is not fun when you go ice with that Zapdos. He gets wiped out super fast. So that's why I am going to recommend that you power up the Raikous. But here is the thing, I always recommend to power them up when they are necessary. So save them. If they're not necessary right now, or you don't need them because the Kyogre is not out, right, you're not going to use them against Groudon because Groudon is going to be powerful against the Raikou, right? So that is the flip situation. So since he's not out right now, I am going to say this is why I have a lot of dust, right? I almost have 11 million dust because I only power it up when it's necessary. Like when a Kyogre comes back out, or maybe if there's like a Gyarados raid or something like that where I was like, dude, I need an electric attacker, then I would power them up. And I just have them sitting in my bag ready to go until I am ready for that, unless you just have an endless amount of dust to just power things up. But I suggest don't just jump into something, wait until it's useful, wait until you need it, and then go ahead and splurge, because now you've been saving and you're only powering up the most useful things at that time, because it's only out for a month and then it switches, right? Or even less sometimes, maybe a week, or maybe a few days, or maybe 3 hours, or maybe 1 hour. Who knows what happens, but this is the best time to conserve dust because you just have them, you have the new ones that you know you're ready to evolve with that 15 attack for the legendaries, because that's probably the best. The only time I would go with the 14 attack is if it was a 98. I just do it just because I like that IV and that percentage points, but a 96 with a 15 attack is also super efficient as well. But typically I try to get that 98 at least with that 15 attack. That's usually my benchmark, but I've made rare exceptions. But usually that's where I sit at. So this is what I would do. I would power them up if you have excess dust. Or if you don't and you're kind of conserving, I would wait until it's useful again. And then when you know you need electric attackers and you check out my raid guides and we're ready, I'm like, dude, you need the Raikou. It's now is the time to do it. Then you go ahead and power it up. And that's the most effective strategy to get you ready for the raid bosses. So thank you for tuning into the Trainer Club. Thank you for all the people who are supporting me on Patreon. And guess what? I will see you guys out on that next video. Peace.